Hey guys, in this session we'll be talking about Seaborn library. These are the contents that we'll be covering in this session. In the previous session, we looked at how Python's matplot library can be used for data visualization. In this session, we will be looking at Seaborn library, which is another extremely useful library for data visualization in Python. The Seaborn library is built on top of Matplotlib and offers many advanced data visualization capabilities. So now let's see how to download Seaborn library. If you have pip installed in your Seaborn library, you can write the command pip install Seaborn in command prompt. You can even follow the command !" followed by pip install Seaborn to install Seaborn using Jupyter Notebook. Now let's see how to import the Seaborn library. As seen before, we use import statement from Python and we type the following command: import Seaborn as SNS. So we call the Seaborn library as SNS. In this session, we will be understanding the Seaborn library with the help of a dataset. The dataset that we are going to use is Titanic dataset, which is downloaded by default with the Seaborn library. All you have to do is use the load dataset function and pass it the name of the dataset. Let's see what the Titanic dataset looks like. Before that, let's import all the necessary libraries. So as imported before in the previous sessions, let's import pandas as pd, import numpy, as we'll be using numpy array, so we'll import numpy library. We'll be plotting, so we'll need matplotlib.pyplots as plt. We have already imported Seaborn, so let's just execute that. And then we will have inline command matplotlib inline to embed the graphs within the Jupyter Notebook. Now let's see how to load the dataset from the Seaborn library. So we'll be using load dataset function. Let's define a variable called data. Now SNS is the Seaborn library with the function load underscore dataset, and we'll be passing the name of the dataset, that is Titanic. And now let's print the top 5 rows of the dataset. So it's just head. So by default, head will return top 5 elements of the top 5 rows of the dataset. So if you execute this, now let's see different kind of plots. The first one that we'll be talking about is distribution plots. As the name suggests, these are the type of plots that shows the statistical distribution of data. So we'll be using a function called distplot. So SNS is the Seaborn library followed by distplot function, which takes in the column as a parameter and will pass the column data as the data frame, and that particular column is, let's take fair, and let's execute this. You can see that most of the tickets that have been sold are in between the range of 0 to 50. So here is the maximum tickets being sold. The line, this blue line that you see, represents the kernel density estimation. You can remove that line by just typing KDE, which is the parameter, is equal to false. So now if we execute this, the kernel density estimation line won't be seen anymore. So now there is so many spaces here which is being wasted, like it's not very evident. So we can use a function called bin to make it more convenient for us to understand the data. So let's just keep it as 10. So it will divide the horizontal axis, that is x-axis, into 10 divisions. Let's just keep it as bins. Now you can clearly see that more than 700 passengers have taken the ticket between 0 to 50. So that's what is the conclusion from this plot. Now let's understand the second plot, that is joint plot, which is used to display the mutual distribution of each column. So the Seaborn library has a function called joint function, joint plot. So this takes 3 parameters. The first one is the column name in x-axis, so let's just give it as age, and column name in y-axis, let's keep it as fare, and the data, which is the data frame. And if we execute this, you can observe that there are this is a scatter plot, and there are 3 components in this graph. First one is the distribution on the top, second one is the distribution on the right, and the scatter plot. So the first distribution on the top is the distribution of x-axis column, and this is the distribution of y-axis column. So this is the age distribution, this is the fare distribution, and this is the mutual distribution of the data of both fare and age. So you can even joint plot for different kind of plots, like this is for scatter plot. You can even do a hexagonal plot. You just have to do one changes, that is also include a kind parameter in which you will be mentioning like the name. So here we'll be using hexagonal plot, so I have mentioned hex here, and you can observe that. So the hexagon in this plot, most number of points get darker color, so most of the points are present here, so it is very dark in this place. So you can see that most of the passengers are between the age of 15 to 33 almost, and most of them pay between $100 to $50. So it is darker in this range. So it is from 0 to 10 to $50. Now let's see another kind of plot, that is pair plot. So in this type of plot, basically it is a joint plot for all the possible combination of numeric and boolean columns in that particular data frame. You just need to pass a data frame to this function. So it will be sns dot pair plot of the data frame that you want to execute the pair plot on. Before that, you should make sure that this data does not contain any null value. So let's just drop all the missing values in that particular data frame. So let's just do drop name. So this is gonna drop all the columns with a null value in it, and let's not take all the columns, let's take only few columns like survived, age, fare. Let's take 3 columns. So for that, I'll just make it as data1 is equal to data of survived, and let's keep age, simple to remember, and fare. Yes, if we run and then change this accordingly to data1, and now if we execute this, Yes, the pair plot has been plotted, so you can observe that the diagonal ones are the correlation between the autocorrelation, that is survived with survived itself and age with age itself, and the remaining are the correlation between joint plot between different columns. So as we have seen above, the age and fair, similarly you can observe here also fair and age, and you can observe most of the points are between this range. And similarly here you can observe that the P1 means he has survived the accident and 0 means he has not. So you can observe that the people with the age between 0 and 20 have most of them have survived. You can conclude from this graph, and so on. So this is very helpful for visualization and understanding of the data. Let's now talk about most commonly used categorical plots. The first one is bar plot. Bar plot is used to display the mean value of categorical column against numerical column. So for instance, if you want to know the mean value of the age of male and female passengers, you can just plot the bar plot. So let's plot the bar plot using bar plot function, which takes in 3 parameters, that is the column name of the column in x-axis, let's take it as x, and then y is equal to the age, because we need the age, the mean of the age of female and male, and then the data frame, so that's data. Now if we execute this, you can observe that the average age of a male is a bit less than 40 and the average age of female is around 33. Now you can even use the bar plot to estimate other aggregate functions like standard deviation of the age for each gender. So for that we can we just need to add one more parameter. Let me just copy this, and the estimator, there is a parameter called estimator where you will pass the aggregate function. So here we'll be using standard deviation, so it was np dot standard deviation, and if you execute this statement, you will be now able to see the standard deviation of both the genders. So female it's like nearly to 14, and for male it's nearly 16.5 or 16. Yeah. So now we will see the next type of plot, that is count plot, which is very similar to bar plot. However, it displays the count of the categorical in the specific column. For instance, if you want to count the number of males and female passengers, you just have to type the same thing. The SNS dot will be using a count plot here, a function called count plot. And if you want to count the passengers, so you will have in x-axis, you will have the sex, as in the gender of the passenger, and the data frame called data. If you execute this, you will be able to see the number of female and male passengers. So female is nearly 90 and male is nearly more than female, that is nearly 100. Now next let's look at box plot. The box plot is used to display the distribution of categorical data in the form of quartiles. So the center of the box shows the median value. First let me show you the box plot. Let's plot for the sex and the age of the person or the passenger. So we'll use the box plot function, which will take the x parameter as the column name, y as the column name in y-axis, and the data frame, so which is data itself. And let's execute this. Now you can observe that there are two graphs and each graph has 4 parts in it. The value from the lower line to the lower line of the box shows the first quartile. Similarly, from this line to the middle line, which indicates the median, it is second quartile. The middle line to the above end of the box is the third quartile, and from here till the topmost dashed line is the fourth quartile. From this you can observe that the first quartile is between 5 and 22. So that means that 25% of passengers at the age of 5 and 25 are present, that is female passengers are between this 25% of female passengers are between the age of 5 to 25, and another 25% of female passengers are between this range of 23 to 32, and next from 32 to 42, 34 to 44, the next 25% of female passengers are present, and from around 43 to 65 the other 25% of female passengers are present. So similarly you can distribute the number of passengers here. So the first 25 are present in first quartile, second 25 in second quartile, third 25 in third, and fourth in fourth quartile. Now if you want to see the box plot for the age of the passenger of both genders, along with the information about whether or not they survived or not, you can pass one more parameter. So let me just add it here in the next cell, and let me copy this, and let me just add a new parameter called hue is equal to, we need to pass the column name of the survived column. And now if we execute this, now in addition to the information about the age of each gender, you can also see the distribution of the passenger who survived. For instance, you can see that among the male passengers, on average, more younger people survived as compared to the older ones. Similarly, you can see that variation among the age of female passengers who did not survive is much greater than the age of surviving female passenger. Next, let's talk about matrix plots. Matrix plots are the type of plots that show data in the form of rows and columns. Heat maps are the prime example of matrix plots. Heat maps are normally used to plot correlation between numeric columns in the form of matrix. It is important to mention here that drawing matrix plots, you need to have meaningful information on columns and as well as in rows. Let's plot the first 5 rows of the Titanic dataset to see if the both rows and the column header have meaningful information. So initially data.head can be used to print the first 5 rows, and you can see that Column header contains useful information such as passengers survived, their age, fare and others. However, the row header contains the index 0, 1, 2, 3 indicating individual index of passengers. To plot matrix plots, we need useful information on both column and row header. One way to do this is called the correlation method on the data set. The correlation function returns the correlation between all the numerical columns of the data set. So let's have the correlation of this data. So let's name it as cor and data dot correlation function, and let's print the correlation. So we have got the correlation between each column. Now to create a heat map with these correlation values, you need to call the heat map function and pass it your correlation data frame. So let's call a function from Seaborn library which is called heat map, and we'll pass this correlation data frame, and let's execute this. Yeah, from the output it can be seen that what heat map essentially does is that it plots a box for each and every combination of rows and columns value. The color of the box depends upon the gradient. For instance, in the above image that we are showing displayed here, if there is a high correlation between two features, the corresponding cell of the box is white. On the other hand, if there is no correlation at all, the corresponding cell remains black. The correlation value can also be plotted on the heat map by passing true for the annote parameter. So let's just have a annotation. So let's just have annote parameter as true, and it will display the value of for each box. And you can observe that the value of the correlation has been mentioned here, minus 0.38, 0.38, and here whatever is plotted is the same value that has been displayed here. Now we have learnt how to create various type of plots using Seaborn, how to interpret from it. Now you will be able to plot any type of graphs using Seaborn library, and in this way you will be able to understand the data better and to estimate which model can be used on that particular data. Hopefully this introduction to Seaborn has helped you understand the power of this library. Seaborn is essential library for any data scientist and machine learning enthusiast when it comes to data visualization. For further reading, you can go through the reference notebook attached to this video, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.